Hello, and welcome to Traditional Stitches FlossTube video number 45. I'm Janice Spencer, the owner of Traditional Stitches, and with me again today is our Stitch Along leader, Rose Heck. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Janice. Good morning.
I've missed you the last couple of times you've been in the shop.
I know. We've been very busy, though.
Yeah. So how are things? Have you had a good couple weeks since the last time we talked?
Yeah. It's been a very, very busy couple weeks. Yeah, but yeah, good. Really good. So,
and spring is in the air here. We've got some beautiful days coming up, so happy about that.
Yeah, except for all the big puddles that you have to get around and taking the dog out and always drying her and washing the floor after. And
yeah.
Oh, well, no big deal.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
Yes, definitely. So in this video, we're going to talk about Nashville, and then we're going to talk some more about Nashville. And in between that, we're going to talk about the two Hands Across the Sea sampler stitch-alongs that we've been talking about in our videos. And then I was telling you before we started that I've got probably close to 20-inch stack of hand-dyed linens here for the hand-dyed linen parade. So we're going to show that off and actually talk in detail about how Traditional Stitches handles our hand-dyed linen orders that's different from any way anybody else does it. So shall we jump right in?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay. So I have been home from the Nashville market for almost 10 days already, and it feels like a blank. But we had just an amazing trip. So there's always the worries section of a trip like that, like the flights and packing everything to bring it home and getting it home safely. And then when we get home, we have to go through customs, which can be an ordeal, but was a piece of cake. So all of the worry things went as well as could have been expected for this trip.
Yeah.
And then there's the enjoyment things. So like being at the market and being totally immersed in stitching for 3 days, visiting with our shop owner friends, the designers, and the inspiration, and it's recharging and all those kinds of things. So all of the enjoyment ends of the Nashville trip were fantastic too. So it was really great.
Good.
So we have filled all of our pre-orders with the stuff that we brought back. It's not all shipped yet, but Kathleen is working really hard on getting that done. So within the next few business days, I think that we'll be on top of that. Excuse me. Unless we're waiting for a thread or a fabric to complete an order. And so those, we always use our best judgment about shipping timeframes and stuff for that. So, and if you ever had a question about that, email is always the best way to reach out to us. And so I was able to bring home almost everything that was on our pre-order list. There were still some things that were sold out that the designers hadn't printed enough of. So that's both exciting, but then it's waiting too for the stuff to be shipped and arrive to us. So, but we did really good. So I'm really happy about that. And we're already reordering many of the most popular things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you had sent me a list yesterday of things that we could talk about in more detail. And while I'm trying to go through our leftover stock and picking them, several are out of stock already. So we just have to wait for more to arrive. So then, since then, Diana's been working on adding details to the website, thread list, trims, pom-poms and chenille kind of thing for designs, and putting price tags on the stock. And now it's starting to go onto the floor in the shop. So that it took us kind of, that's how the length of the process and the level of detail that we go through. So and so now you and I are going to talk about a few highlights that we haven't touched on before, but that'll be a little bit later in the video. Yeah. So the first thing that we want to talk about is our Traditional Stitches exclusive limited edition Hands Across the Sea samplers stitch along and Johnson. So we've been seeing some really beautiful posts of people who have finished the first month. And also when I was in Nashville, several people pulled me over and said, I'm stitching this sampler, Janice. I love it. The colors are beautiful. So it was really great to get that kind of feedback. Really enjoyed
No
it.
kidding.
In person kind of, yeah. So that's great. And so how's your month going?
Well, I did it. I finished it and really wanted to continue, but I think I kind of sneaked in a little bit. I pulled the wrong one. Bear with me. Okay, so month one was we're on the different side. So month one is that corner of the border, and I still don't know what you really call that. To me, it looks like a shrub that's behind the house and is just kind of coming out. And then a bit of that checkerboard with the bird. So, and I know I was dreading a little bit. I'm not a big vine person at all, but it was quite intuitive. I didn't mind it at all. So,
And it went pretty
I knocked
quick.
it out. It did. The one thing I did add on to it, and I think I did it to ground the vine, is I added the side of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Okay, so sorry for the wrinkles.
Awesome.
But there we are. So there's my month one.
Yay.
All eager to start month two.
Are you going to do that tonight?
Yeah, I think so. If I get around to, I'll put it on my scroll rods and get it started. So
Cool.
tonight or tomorrow night. So, but yeah,
Hmm.
looking forward to month two.
Month two. So we have some things to talk about in month two.
We do.
Okay, hang on a sec. Let me show you what I've done on mine just to catch up.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
So this time of year, February, March is not a heavy stitching month for me, just because of all of the Nashville work that's involved. And so long days and exhausted at the end of the long days. So I had full intentions of getting way further on Ann Johnson than I did, but I didn't. So I don't quite have month number one done, but I did move ahead and get some of the house established so that we could talk about the elongated cross stitch, which is our new stitch in month number two. And I'm not sure where else it occurs in the sampler, but so the first thing I want to talk about is the window part of the elongated cross stitch that I put in. And so the elongated cross is kind of actually all over the place. It's elongated horizontally in some places and vertically in some places. And in some places, it's actually a cross over one as a compensating stitch to make the framework for these windows. So the very first thing that I would say to everybody is use your PDF. Because even when I was working on this last night, I was working from my phone, which the screen is not very big. So if you're working from an iPad or a laptop, you're going to have a bigger screen. But like then you can enlarge that area and actually see the location of the stitches. So I would say definitely work from the PDF.
Good point.
The other thing that I would say for the windows is to put in the rest of the house first. So put in the red lines that make the structure, put in the doors, and then you're going to have lots of reference points for counting for your elongated cross. And the elongated cross is generally over 2 in one direction and over 1 in the other direction. So that means that the up and down holes are not necessarily on your cross stitch grid that you're used to. They can be off by a thread. And so you need to be paying attention to that and looking at it closely.
I'm just looking at this a little more closely, and the not the sashes of the windows, but the center, there's a name for them. And there are some that are definitely over 3 threads.
Yeah.
So the PDF, I'm going to make a point of that on the illustrations I did on Ann Johnson Facebook page, just to use your PDF for this.
So, Anne was a young girl, and so she made things fit and did what worked. I would say that I feel that the elongated cross is definitely worth it. I'll see if I can give you a close-up. I don't know if you'll see the dimension in the window here. Probably not. But it gives a really nice kind of a ropey feel to the stitch, which is a great texture for the outline of windows, I think.
I would have never thought that.
Yeah.
Oh.
So if they try the elongated cross. If it doesn't work for you, there might be some other stitches that would work that would give a similar effect, like a stem stitch or something like that. But you have plenty of margins on your linen. So go off to the side and do some practicing and just see how it goes and how you like it.
Mhm.
The other thing that I would say on these windows is that the inner color is a dark gray, and then the outer color of them is a bright yellow. And to my eye, it was easier to see the dark gray on the chart than the yellow. So I put in the dark gray first, and then I put the yellow in around it. So on the PDF there, what I mean by dark gray. So that just worked better visually for me for counting and everything. And then the yellow kind of just followed the outline of it. So it made it a little bit easier.
Yeah. Okay. Good points.
Yeah, so I think that's all you need to know about the ones on the house, but there are some elongated cross stitches around the moon too that we've had a little bit of a question about. So we thought that we would talk about how we would tackle these. And you can interpret the stitch any way that you like, but I think that what we've kind of agreed on, the two of us, is to start the stitch with an away waist knot. Then you can decide whether you are going to carry your thread between each of the motifs or not carry your thread. I don't think it's a particularly dark thread, and that's an advantage of working with a darkish linen, is if that's in your comfort zone, you can carry on the back, I think, without having to worry about any problems. If you're a little bit more specific about things like that, then don't even think about it.
I'm not sure which side I'm yet.
Yeah.
I'll tell you when I get there.
Yeah, so you're going to go do a cluster of them off on your margin of your fabric and decide, then look at it in the light and see if the thread shows through or doesn't show through, right?
That's a good way.
Yeah, so we agreed that this isn't really a stitch that lends itself so much to starting with pin stitch. So I would start with an away waist knot, then work the 3 elongated cross stitches. And then there's a vertical tying stitch. It kind of looks like, I would have interpreted it as a tying stitch, but apparently it's not really. Apparently that vertical stitch is actually 2 stitches. So each stitch is over 2 threads. So what I would do is work those elongated crosses and then come back and find the correct starting point for the top of the vertical stitch and come in at go back to the back of your fabric at the elongated cross, and then go back down to the bottom of that long stitch and then go back down near your elongated cross. So, but that is also a reason why you should try these stitches in your margin, is to see, maybe you like the idea of one long stitch over top of those elongated crosses, or maybe you want to do one long stitch and slide it underneath the middle of the elongated cross so that it has, like you said, kind of a couching effect. Yeah, so I would suggest that you play with it. See what visually looks the best to you. I think that the authentic thing is to do the vertical stitch in 2 stitches. It doesn't really look that way on the graph, but if you do it in 1 stitch and then another stitch that both go down at the elongated cross, I think that's the authentic thing to do. But
And if
There,
you're comfortable with the counting, you can definitely start with that vertical stitch first and then put in the elongated stitches over top of it.
yep,
And that's fine too.
yeah.
And if
So,
you're off by a thread, it's not really going to matter.
no, not at all. Not the way that those are kind of randomly placed around the moon.
Exactly. Exactly.
But so what I want to see is some people post in the Facebook group on the margins of their linen where they've experimented with the different ways of doing that stitch and tell us which one you like the best.
Well,
Deal?
hopefully it's a challenge accepted by stitchers.
Yeah, it'd be fun to see what people think.
Janice wants to see all of your oopsies and trials and
Yeah,
all
each
those
version.
stitches. Yep.
Yeah, cool. All right. So what else do I want to say about Ann Johnson?
Wow. Well,
Yeah, so I
there's
think
not as
that
much stitching because you don't have to fill in the whole house.
that's exactly what I was going to say. That was
Oh.
something that somebody said right off the bat is I love that house because it's not solidly stitched. So it's going to be a fun month of stitching,
It
I think.
is.
So I'm
And
looking forward to that.
that's the thing with this. If you look at this and you're afraid of it, rethink it and think of it as an adventure. So
Yeah,
have fun with it. That's what it's meant to be.
for sure. So we do still have kits available. Lots of people are joining us all the time, especially now that we're starting to see progress pictures on social media.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to having more people join us. And this is a full year stitch along. And we've just wrapped up month #1. So there's plenty of time to catch up. We do still have some of our exclusive thread beds that we had made for Ann Johnson available. So I'm just going to show you mine. So this is the outside of it where we've just taken an image of the sampler and sewn it. And then I'm going to show you how I'm actually using it. This is the inside. So when I have a tail of a thread that I'm not going to use, I just wrap it around the tip of my finger to make it nice and tidy. And then I place it in here and look, they're staying. And then I can snap it closed when I need to put my project away. We're set. So the only other thing that I wanted to say about Ann Johnson was last night when I was stitching, I started to put in this roof color, which is up here and hard to see.
Yeah.
But oh my God, do I love this color.
It's not, it doesn't look like what in my head, what it is.
No, so that's I should know to do this on this side. That's the spool color. So it's a blue, gray, green.
Yeah.
And it's just, I hope that I get to use it lots in the sampler because it's just gorgeous.
When you look at the finished piece, the front, it looks like quite a brilliant blue. But when you get it on this linen, it changes it a bit. Well, it is a calm color, but it tones everything down. And I don't think we can underestimate what linen does to floss colors. You change the color of the linen. So if somebody changes it to, I don't know, a white or whatever, it's going to look totally different. So,
you know what this color palette is reminding me of, and it just kind of occurred to me. Remember many years ago, Summer House Stitchworks put out a 9-part series that was the Calico Sampler. And we've got that stitched and hanging on the wall in the shop.
Yes.
I stitched it. And it is a very jewel tone palette on a golden fabric. And I just love that design. And so I think the jewel tony kind of thing just appeals to me.
Yeah, that's one of her early, what does she call them? I can't think of what it calls, but that's one of her earlier designs. Yeah. And I always admired that piece.
Yeah, so I'll see if I can find a full-size picture and insert it here so you guys know what we're talking about. I think the charts are still available. We've still got them listed on our website, so I think we've got a few sets in the shop, but was stitched on hand-dyed linen. I think it might be straw, Weeks Dye Works, using Gentle Art threads, so they have a nice variegation to
them. You and I didn't have as many choices back when that was stitched as there is now. So straw was probably one of the big golden colors like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
So that's Ann Johnson. And then do you want to show us your progress on the Hannah Campbell sampler?
Sure. Month, let me bring it back up here. I lost it. So we're on month 11, but we just completed month 10, and bear with me because I don't have a printout. So there is it divided, and you can probably see where month 10 is done and month 11.
Okay.
So I haven't started the house yet. I'm excited to do the house. And for anybody that absolutely hates doing over one, Hannah Campbell is full of it, but I'm using the Swasserfine and it stitches like a dream. I'm kind of rethinking over one now. I'm
Oh,
rather enjoying it. So there is Hannah Campbell and the month 10 complete. And I did a little more. I really wanted that tree to be done, so I did that and a bit more of the border. So really enjoy it. Really, I can't say enough about this piece, and I'm excited to get it done. I'm not rushing it because, as you can tell, I'm following along, but I'm excited to have it done. So it's such a pretty piece.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, I have still not finished mine off. As you know, but nobody else really knows, I decided that Nashville time would be a really good time to put my condo on the market and start the process of moving. So yeah, that's also been on my,
Yeah.
oh, well, what can you do?
Yeah, nothing like giving yourself lots of things at one time, hey?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah.
You
Pacing
know,
yourself is for the weak, right?
well, you know, life is too short not to take advantage of some opportunities for some good things that come along in your life. So
Sure.
that's
For
the decision that I've made.
Good.
Yeah. Someday I'll tell you all the story.
Yeah. Mm.
Now I think we're going to talk about I'm going to show off a few things from Nashville, and we'll insert some pictures of some things that are sold out. And then we're going to have our hand-dyed linen parade.
Okay, sounds good.
So I have a little stack here of Nashville things to show you. So we'll start at the top.
Okay.
So Needlework Press had some limited edition things went along with their kind of paper and thread line, and
Yeah.
those sold out like with a snap of a finger. We bought way more this year than we did last year, and they're still all gone. So actually there was one paper basket kit chart pack left when I left the shop last night, but I'm guessing it might be gone. But
Yeah.
so one of the other things that they had was limited edition is these spools.
Mhm.
So that they come wrapped with a wool thread, but they're the perfect size to do piece on banding or linen and finish the edges, alphabet piece or that kind of thing, and wrap it around the spool. There's finishes that you can do where your edges meet and it's just a solid piece on the spool, or there's finishes that you can do where it's kind of a long banner of stitching and then you just roll it around the spool to store it and display
Yeah.
it. So anyways, we've got some of these left and they all have the red thread on the spool. So one of our big sellers was the Annie B's Spring Green Pears chart. So I left these in the bag, so hopefully the glare is not too bad. So these are adorable in person, and we had lots of orders for them. They're stitched with a Dinky Dyes silk thread that's kind of a creamy color. It's actually called Pearl, and it's done on a 36 count solid Zweigart linen, which we don't have in stock. So we are chasing that down and hoping to have it in a few weeks. But I think that this particular color of linen really makes the design, and doing it on a 36 count is right for the silk thread for using one strand. But if somebody was really in a hurry to get started, we could look and see if we've got any substitutions that are in a different count or a different brand. Like maybe Picture This plus Valor might be a good substitution. Yeah. So anyways, that was a top seller and amazing in person. La-di-da had 3 new releases for Nashville, and they're all super cute. I'm a big fan of anything that Lori does. So this one was one that you had also mentioned. Sometimes Lori does kits for Nashville, but this time she was only able to do some charts. So this one is called Amory's Pocket.
Yes, yes.
So lots of awesome samplery elements in there. And then it finishes with a wraparound pocket like that. There was also a design that she released called One More, and that was super popular as well. But we can't show you everything.
No.
But if you wanted to see everything, you can look on the link that's in the description box below to our website. I think we got pretty close to 600 new products for this Nashville market, so there is lots to look at. One of our super popular things was the new animal crackers in Stacey Nash's series. So there were 3 this year, one called Bobbin, one called Maggie May, and one called Miss Hazel. And they were all super popular, but Maggie May was the one that was the most popular. So here she is. We have lots of all 3 in stock. We came home with lots. So,
and I believe all 3 of them, she has made some sort of a fob or pin cushion to go with each piece.
Yeah. So it says on the back that the finished size for the Maggie May is 3 1/4 by 7. The needle book is 1 by 2.5. So nice and tight. Stitched on a 36 count hand dyed linen using Wheat Dye Works. So super cute.
Yes.
So then there were 2 that you had mentioned that I don't have on hand anymore, but I'm going to insert photos here just so that we can talk about them. One was Shakespeare's Peddler chart called Pretty in Pink. And Teresa actually was able to pull out a couple of last minute releases that we hadn't previewed before, and this was one of them. And it was super popular and sold out. And here's a picture so that you can see why. So very pretty in pink. And then another one is the Needle Made Designs Jane Walker Reproduction Sampler. And I didn't have any more of those left to show you either, but here is a picture. One thing that came out at Nashville kind of timing was a brand new series from Little House Needleworks. It's called Log Cabin Christmas. I can't remember it all. Anyway, so it's a 9-part series, and you can stitch the designs individually or on a grid of 3 by 3. And the model is stitched on 32 count natural raw Belfast linen, but we do have 2 colors of 32 count natural linen that have a metallic thread woven into them. One is just a opalescent thread and one is a silver thread, and either one of those would also be great choices for this series, just to bling it up a little bit. But here is the chart for the first month. And these will roughly come out about once a month. And so we've got an auto ship program for those that you sign up through our website. And then as each one is released, we just ship them to you. And those are always fun. I've got, a couple of Little House series like that, and maybe a classic or a country cottage series like that framed and on the walls in the shop. And they're always super popular.
It is Log Cabin Christmas. And
Log Cabin Christmas.
Yes. Super sweet. Yeah, I've done one of her series too, and it was a lot of fun. Just different.
With a sense of accomplishment as you go.
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome. So then Blackbird Designs released 2 new books at Nashville, and I've got both of them here. The first one is Thy Love More Strong, and it is a booklet of 3 projects. So the sampler that is pictured on the cover, and then on the back is this kind of a fat drum pin cushion, short and wide, and then this box top design. So very happy to see new releases from Blackbird Designs for sure.
Yes, yes.
And then the other one is this book called Moments of Glad Grace. And it has 4 projects in it. This sampler that's on the cover, which is just beautiful.
Yes.
And then there's a pin cushion,
Okay.
and a box top, and then another sampler,
Okay.
which I think is that guy.
So pretty.
So, yeah, just classic Blackbird designs.
Yeah.
Must have.
That's
Yeah, and people seem to be wanting to add them to their collections, so I think that's the right thing to do. Something else that always happens at Nashville Needlework Market is our thread designers release new colors for their lines. Some are limited edition colors and some are permanent editions. So this is the Gentle Arts. We sell them as bundles in the shop. You can order them individually, but we also offer them as bundles. So these are the new colors from the Gentle Art. Oh, that didn't work very good. So the first 3 that have numbers on them, Wisteria, Dragon Fruit, and Goldenrod, are additions to the line. And then this is the new limited edition color that's available as long as it lasts, and it's called Mantis, and it's got some really great green and yellow variegation in there.
What a great name.
So the Gentle Art also did 2 limited edition thread packs that have 5 skeins each in them. One of them is called Once Upon a Time. And the other one is a mystery bag, and it's in black plastic, so you can't even see through the plastic to see what's in there. So we have those still available as well. And then Weeks Dye Works did a great range of new colors. Let's see if I can do them justice here. So they are lightest to darkest, Queen Anne's Lace, Winter Wheat, River Otter, Grassland, and Cardinal.
Those are great, great colors. It's
Great.
nice to see that they brought out a red.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's a great color.
It is. Yeah.
So then what else do I have here? Oh, Gloriana had new colors at Nashville. Actually,
Yes.
Gloriana had a pretty nice selection of threads on hand, so we were able to fill some older back orders for thread from them, so that was good. So these are the new colors in the 12-strand silk. So going from the yellow side, they are Daffodil, Hyacinth, Virginia Pine, Weathered Wood, and Antique Dark Gray. We're offering those as bundles. And so that's the 12-strand silk, the most common one for Gloriana. And then we also picked up their new releases in the Tudor, which is the really fine silk. It comes 12-strand, and it's really good for like 56 count linen and those kinds of things. And so, let's see if I can do this. The bags are kind of slippery. 4 colors in that: the Antique Dark Gray, Weathered Wood, Hyacinth, and this Virginia Pine, which is just, the Virginia Pine is, it's hard to see, but it just is a really great green, deep.
And comparing the regular Gloriana and the Tudor silk, are the colors fairly close? Have they dyed fairly?
Yep. For, hand-dyed threads are what they are, but between the 2 lines, they're pretty reliably consistent.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. So I haven't worked nearly enough with the Tudor silk, but I know that there are people out there that love it, and it's sometimes hard to get. And so even on those kinds of things, we offer collector programs for those lines of thread, where if you knew that you wanted to have eventually the whole collection, we send you a package once a month with a few each month to help break up the cost and everything, but then you build your collection and you've got them on hand to convert and use as you like.
Mhm.
Yeah. So now onto my big stack of hand-dyed linen here. And we had a couple interesting things happen since our last video about hand-dyed linen. So the first thing was that somebody posted on social media that they had had a score of lakeside linen from us. So we love those posts, but what she didn't say was how long she had to wait to have a score of lakeside linen from us. Or and then it kind of sounded like we had a plethora of lakeside linen. So we don't, nobody does, but we get shipments of lakeside about once a month and then give them out as necessary. And so the other thing that happened, and this is all going to lead into my tale about how we handle hand-dyed linens in our shop, was a customer had placed an order for a piece of fabric that is not in stock. And so we said, based on our best estimate, it could be up to 6 months to get this fabric back in. And her response was, well, no fabric is worth waiting 6 months for. And you all know, right? If you're watching our videos, you know that.
You know.
Yeah, if you know, you know. Hand-dyed linen is definitely worth waiting to get the color that you like. We can substitute as much as possible, but we have people who have been waiting for, well, when Picture This Plus was really backlogged, 16, 18 months for a piece of Picture This Plus fabric that they were thrilled to get after that long of a wait. So that was part of it. But then the other thing was, well, if it's on your website, it should be in stock and you should not be offering things that are unavailable. So we keep listings of all of the fabric that are available to us on our website, because in the words of one of our regular customers, you can't get to the front of the line if you don't get into the back of the line. Yeah. So place your orders. We'll fill them as we can. And when a box of Lakeside comes in, we always fill orders from oldest to newest. And oftentimes Lakeside or any of the hand-dyed fabrics don't actually hit the floor of the shop because we honor those outstanding orders first. The other thing about our shop is that we don't take payment until the day that the fabric's ready to be shipped. So even if you do have to wait 5, 6, 10 months for a piece of fabric, you're not out of pocket until it's available to you to use. So with the linens, you know, so customers place an order through our website, and then they always get an email from us that says, we expect your fabric's going to be 3 months or 6 months or whatever. And then if the fabric is longer than our anticipated time, we always email the customer and say, this is coming in. Are you still interested? And if they're not still interested, they're not bound to it. But most of the times they're pretty thrilled to be getting their hands on a piece of fabric that hasn't been available on the market for a while. So
right.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the coveted chart that everybody wants. There are certain linens that everybody covets, and most people are really patient with it and understanding. And like you said, the biggest caveat that helps is you don't take payment until it's in your hands. And then, so
yeah,
I think that's the best part.
Yeah, definitely. It would be a totally different story if our website processed the payment as soon as you hit the submit button. But since we do everything manually when we're actually building all of the items that go into the package, it's a little bit different. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's out of your control. I mean, you're kind of at the whim of the dyers in this case, and their availability of these items too, of the raw product. So if they don't have the raw product, they can't dye it and pass it on to the retailers and then to the consumer. So it's just kind of one of those things.
Yeah.
That's right.
And our website does say during the checkout process, when you're placing an order, at least 3 times you'll see it that our website does not reflect real-time inventory.
Yeah.
So, and I know that some shops have chosen to only run real-time inventory business models. And that's the beauty of owning your own business, is that you can choose your own business model that you've made work for you. So we just do things a little bit differently. Yeah. All right, so now I have a showcase of hand-dyed linens that we've already gone through and given out the advanced orders, and this is what happens to be left.
Okay.
So the first are Seraphim linens, and we got a really nice big shipment from them while I was in Nashville. So I'm going to show you some of them here. This is 36 count winter white. And they, not to be confused with 36 count winter woolens.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So they're both by Seraphim, and both of these are 36 count. And so the winter white is much whiter, but the woolens is just a beautiful color. And look, can you see that modeling in there? It's just.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
And then, and then this is the winter woolens in 46 count.
It's really pretty. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, I'm just looking at this thinking, does it need to go back to the shop?
Maybe not.
It will go back to the shop. I have to work on my Johnson SAL.
You need stash.
Yep. Yes, I definitely need stash. That's one thing in packing up. I don't have nearly enough of a fabric stash as I thought I did. So I need to work on that stat. Okay, 36 antique lace.
This is always one I really like.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's actually a little bit tanner, and then it's showing up in the photo, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's a little bit better back there. 40 count winter woolens.
Oh, it's a bit different again.
Yeah. This is 40 count prairie grass, which is a great go-to hand-dyed linen.
Mm-hmm.
This is a new color to our shop, and one of the really popular heart and hand designs was stitched on this. This is Boston.
It sounds familiar, but I can't think of the design.
It's the Frosty Town one.
Yes.
Frosty
Yes.
Tiny Town.
That was the one I really liked of
Mm-hmm.
hers.
Yeah, you and everybody else, so I didn't have one to show in the video.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think
so anyways,
colors are muted.
Yeah, it's a very cool blue, gray,
yeah.
cloudy. Yeah, really nice. And this is 40 count Tobias.
Mm-hmm. Another one I like.
And 40 antique lace. Uh, 40 winter woolens. So we've showed winter woolens in 36, 40, and 46. And 40 old stationery, which I really like this one too.
It's another
yeah. And then this one is a little bit different. It is Dead Sea Scroll, and it's got more modeling to it. Really interesting fabric.
It is. I can see ink circles or long dog.
Oh, yeah, long dog would be great for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we brought home fabric from Stephanie, hand-dyed linen from Stephanie from Nashville, but it's mostly gone. We've got a few pieces for specific designs left, but this is one that we did have yardage of, and it's a super popular color of hers, and it is 32 driftwood.
Yeah.
Yeah, so really
like
versatile, 32 count linen. And then I did manage to pick up some linen from Fiber on a Whim in Nashville. They were actually the first stop that I made, and I was 5th in line. So I got most of what I came to get, and we have some left over. So I'm just going to show them to you really quick. This is 40 milk and honey.
Mm-hmm.
So Kathy Barrick Designs, hello from Liz Matthews. They use some Fiber on a Whim,
Okay.
Silver Creek. Silver Creek's new designs were great as always and popular. She stitches her model on Ada, but we offer them on our website converted to linen.
Okay.
This is 40 Caramel Macchiato.
Mm.
And that was kind of it for the rest of the fiber on a whim. So I will have a link in the description box below that takes you directly to the specific fabrics that I've shown in this video that are in stock at the time of me hitting the publish button on it.
Okay.
So something very exciting happened yesterday afternoon in the shop, and that is that a big box of mason linen arrived.
Oh,
So I spent a couple extra hours yesterday afternoon going through it to make sure that I gave it out to the people that have advanced orders for it that we keep in our order book. And so I can show you some mason linen that is available. So we currently have at least a yard of the colors that I'm going to show you in stock. Are you ready?
you bet.
And there's a couple colors here that we haven't actually had in stock before, so they're great to see.
Okay.
So so Patty at Mason Linens is doing fabrics in kind of color families with 4 gradients. So these are 40 count chatelaine. So this one is the medium light, and then medium dark, and then dark in the chatelaine.
You know what just occurred to me? The one word that I can say for mason linens, it's classy.
Yeah.
You know, there's all sorts of different, but hers are like almost clean and elegant and classy, like a structured linen suit that you would wear or something. That's what I see with her linens.
Oh, well, that's a good way to put it. Well, they're beautiful. Like going through the orders and getting to see the colors in depth in person and stuff is a highlight of what I get to do. So, yeah. So those were 40 count chatelaine in the, we don't have any of the light left, but that's the medium light, the medium dark, and the dark.
Okay.
This is 36 button box light.
Mm.
These linens feel like nothing else too there. I don't think that there's another fabric on the market that has the, and which is always interesting to me because they're all done on a Zweigart base, and it's just the finishing process that makes that difference.
The master.
Yeah. So this is a new color to us, and obviously it was popular because I don't have very much left to show you. This is Carpet Bag. So again, it's available in the light, medium dark, and dark colors, but I only have the 2 darker ones to show you. So it is kind of a foresty green to gray kind of a color, but if you think of anything that has a dark background on it, that's just gonna pop on these samplers, on these fabrics.
Yeah, I could think of one.
Yeah, what one?
Pub. If somebody really did not want to, I can't. Now you can see it better, the color.
Well, I have to tell you that when I was looking at this yesterday afternoon, I had the same thought.
Oh,
and this is not as bright of a green as what we did for the background in Peacock, Unicorn, and Badger, but it still is contrasty enough that it would work. And if somebody wants something a little bit more subtle, then this would be a good choice for that. One design that I'm stitching right now is Shakespeare's Peddler's Painted Flowers that came out about a year ago. I don't think it was Nashville, and it's stitched on a 40 count black hand-dyed linen, but it would be stunning on this carpet bag.
It would be. And I do know somebody that is stitching painted flowers on the linen that you were calling for, and she says it's a bear, but she said it's beautiful. So I think this might be just a bit easier to stitch. Still the same effect.
Yeah, it's about the same level of darkness, so it might not allow, but anyways, it's just lovely.
It is pretty though.
And then now I've got some 46 count mason to show you. This is antique button dark. So really nice color. Kind of vintage autumn gold, but without the model. So, or straw, like kind of in those color families.
Okay.
Yeah, really nice. And then this is 46 count carpet bag. And so I have 3 shades of that left. It is just beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
And pet it all day long. Yeah. So that's my hand-dyed linen parade.
They look nice.
Yeah. Lucky
I
me.
always say I need one of every color, but yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Wow. So the Mason linens are fairly hard to come by because there's only a couple of shops that offer them. And so Jean at the Attic, my good friend Jean, is one of them, and she tends to sell them in bundles. So you get all 4 shades of each color in the bundle. We're doing it differently. We're selling them as yardage. So then you don't necessarily have to buy all the shades, but I can tell you that you do want all of the shades. But then you can do quarters or halves or whatever you like too. Yeah.
Okay. And I
So-
see, does she have 2 different kinds, antique button and then button box? Are they 2 separate?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, not to be confused with each other, but
Yeah.
I definitely
Oh,
have to
good.
have my paying attention eyes on when I'm working with them because that is pretty
Okay.
similar. And then
Yeah.
she's also got a color called Sewing Bird, which is quite similar as
Okay.
well. So this was the first box of I think 2 or 3 that we're supposed to get in the next couple of weeks.
Okay.
So we'll do the same thing. We'll fill our orders first and then we'll maybe in our next video show off whatever happens to be left.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So that's kind of all that I had. Our next video to talk about part 3 in the Johnson sampler is going to be on April 14th, although I haven't looked to see what day of the week that happens to be.
I think it's on the weekend.
Oh,
I
then we
looked
might,
yesterday.
then we might go early if
Yeah.
it's on the weekend.
It
Yeah.
is.
So I'm hoping to get some stitching time and to maybe get moved by then, but we'll see. If my
Yeah.
backdrop changes, you'll know that I moved. If it's the same
Yeah,
thing, then I haven't.
No sock thing in the corner there.
No, I had to pack
Hold up.
all that stuff up for the showings.
Oh well,
Yeah.
it'll come out sometime again.
Yep, that's exactly right. What about you? What have you got planned?
You know, right now I don't know. I guess just a lot of work and stitching, and with the weather being nice and be more opportunities to get outside. That's what I'm really looking forward to, is just some, time like that. So I don't have any really plans. Get together on Easter probably with the kids. Still don't have that nailed down. So, but I'm kind of seeing prime rib and salmon in my future. So
Oh,
getting a little
nice.
tired of turkey and ham. So
Well, that sounds great.
yeah, it does. So other than that, yeah.
Okay.
You're gonna have a busy few weeks, I gather.
Yep. Yeah, we'll keep it going and hopefully lots of product starts to come back in. I just saw a FedEx notification pop up on my phone that we got a big shipment from a supplier. So
Okay.
yeah, that's excellent. That's what I'm going to go to the shop this afternoon and go through. So
Okay.
yeah.
Have some fun with that. Well, make sure you have some time for stitching. If you
Okay.
can. Yeah, fit it
Yes,
in.
Rose. My marching orders.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Laura.
Yeah, exactly. We all need those.
Yeah, well, we do. We do.
Yep. Okay. Well, thanks for the visit, Rose.
You're welcome. Thank you.
We'll
Take
see you
care.
soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.